And welcome, everybody. This is the Appraiser Coach podcast. Thank you for joining me. My name's Dustin Harris. Got another Appraiser stories for you today. Very, very excited for the individual who reached out to me. And she's got an interesting story, especially in her training. Can't wait to tell you a little bit about her, but first want to pause and let you know that we are sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster right now is offering a 14-day free trial. It's at datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Once again, write this down, kind of long, but it's worth going to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach for your free 14-day trial. And by the way, Alamode still offering their 15-day free trial at alamode.com/free trial. That's alamode.com/free trial. Folks, if you've not tried Alamode, you need to. You need to find out why they are the leader in the industry. And finally, we are sponsored by OREP Insurance. Folks, I've used some of the benefits of OREP Insurance lately, and you need to give them a try. If you are with another company, check out OREP at orep.org. Once again, that is orep.org for more information. Well, folks, like I say, we've got another Appraiser stories for you today. I want to welcome to the program Miss Nancy Vischer. Nancy, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
It's so good to have you on. Thank you for reaching out to me. Nancy actually sent me an email here a couple days ago and said, I've suffered through every one of your podcast episodes, and she specifically pointed out the Appraiser stories and said that she wouldn't mind telling her story. So I appreciate you being brave, Nancy. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Let me just ask you on the offset, what caused you to jump into the Appraiser stories water?
Well, I've loved listening to all your Appraiser stories, and I love hearing everybody just has a different story and a unique story, and I thought mine was kind of unique as well.
Absolutely, so. Yeah. Nancy told me a little bit about her story in the email, and was very happy to have her on board, because I think it's very important, especially for appraisers who are either interested in hiring or want to become appraisers, to hear stories of different ways that people have gotten from A to B. But before we jump into that, Nancy, I want to tell us just a little bit about yourself. Tell us your background and maybe a little bit about why you decided to become an appraiser in the first place.
Okay, sure. Well, I was a stay-at-home mom for a while back. My son was born. Our son was born in 2003, and so I stayed home for a while. And then about a year or so in 2004, I was looking. A lot of stay-at-home moms are always kind of looking for some extra income, something to do. And so someone told me, "You should be an appraiser. You can work from home." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds great." And I don't know how I thought that was going to work out. Like, I picture myself having my baby on my back as I go inspect appraisals. I don't know what I was thinking.
Almost back. That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, I was like, that sounds great. So that's what I did. I took the appraisal. Oh, and this person had also mentioned that they knew someone who could supervise me. So I'm like, well, perfect. So I took the appraisal classes and then contacted this person, and she said, well, I really can't, but my best friend is an appraiser as well, and she could train you. So then I went to her, and she's like, well, I'm really, really busy, but my husband could start training you. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. So he took me on a couple inspections, and turns out he was a trainee as well. So it was the trainee training the trainee, which sounds like a really great idea.
Right, absolutely. Blind leading the blind comes to mind, right?
And so I had taken those appraisal classes and the trainee classes, and I knew that wasn't a good idea. But, when you're just looking for something and you're really excited about something, you just kind of go with the flow. So I'm going along on a couple of these appraisals with him. And then it wasn't very long. It was maybe a week or two, maybe 3 weeks in. They said, you know what, we're going to move out of state, and unfortunately we can't supervise you anymore. And so I was just, just sad about that. Wow. But so they moved down south. And in the meantime, I stayed home, of course, with our son, and thought about what else I could do. And I looked in the paper. I must have called like 20 different appraisers, like, would you supervise me? And everybody was like, no.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Exactly. I've done 2 appraisals,
Right.
So that didn't work out, but I found an ad in the paper to be a reviewer at an appraisal management company. So, and it was about that time, maybe that was 2005, 2006 or something. So my son was ready to go off to preschool, kind of a little preschool thing. Anyway, so that worked out. And so I worked for this AMC for almost 5 years.
Okay. I want to back up for just a second. I think this is going to be interesting to the listeners. So just make sure, I know you stated it, but make sure you clarify, what status are you in right now as far as your story goes? When you get hired by this AMC to do reviews, what type of license or non-license were you at?
Still the trainee. I always kept my trainee status.
Okay, and they were okay having a trainee actually review reports?
Yes. Oh, yes, very much. And to be honest, I had barely seen my own appraisal on my house at that time. You know, I mean, I'd done 2 or 3 inspections, but I'd hardly done anything. And so, you know, I felt really grateful that they gave me that opportunity at the AMC. But I learned so much working there for those 4 years. I saw, you know, multi-million-dollar famous people's homes in LA, and I saw, you know, multi-million-dollar tiny little condos in New York City, and I saw I was started, you know, probably 2005, 2006. So I saw the whole bubble burst and recession,
right.
through the eyes of appraisals across the country, and we would see, you know, appraisals from Detroit, and you know, you could see the prior sales history for the subject and comps, and they'd be like, you know, maybe $120,000 home, a modest 1950s home or something like that in Detroit. And now those houses were appraising for like $8,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
It was just an eye opener, just incredible to see, and incredible just to see the, you know, declining adjustments or declining time adjustments, just things like that.
And I don't want you to reveal the name of the AMC, but you're talking a nationwide AMC. Then you're able to see things from coast to coast.
Yeah, which was again just such a great experience.
I bet the education, you know, doing something like that would just be incredible. Just to be able to look at, I don't know of any appraiser who, you know, obviously I do peer reviews, but, you know, it's a few here, it's a few there. To be able to see that gamut and see that many different reports, it's got to be a great education for you.
It really was. It really was. And now I'm certified on my own and all. And I do a lot of work for AMCs, and I feel like I have an insight to what they're looking for. I feel like when they ask me for a revision request or something, I know the background for that. It's not that they're just trying to pick on me, or in my experience, it's not that they're just trying to get a correction request for every single one they do to up their numbers. It's, you know, I've been there, so I feel like I can see what's going on. I feel like I could see what their office looks like.
No, you're exactly right. You know, I've had John Dingman on before. He's from Landmark, but he has mentioned to me, I think on the air, so I don't think I'm breaking any confidences here in saying this, but he said, you know, I wish every appraiser could spend a day or two in an AMC just seeing how things work. I think that they would have a much different outlook on what we do and why we do it.
Yeah. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. I can't say I loved every day, but it was good.
Well, let me ask you this. So, and I want to get into your business now, but I'm super curious about this whole training process. So, as you're working for this AMC, are you getting hours for the time that you're spending reviewing these reports?
No, in fact, a lot of us, didn't really push for that, but some people that were also reviewers like me, that were also trainees or something, we would kind of push for the state of Minnesota to you know, let us get hours for this. But now that I'm a certified appraiser, that when I think back, that would not have been a good idea.
Really? Interesting. Okay, so you still had to find a mentor then to get you from where you were to where you are today.
Yeah. So what happened was, about 4 years in working for that AMC, they got bought out from another big AMC, and this AMC was out of India.
Okay.
So you can probably guess where this might be going.
Yeah.
So the first few months, we trained India via Skype and some WebEx or thing. You know, we trained them on how to review appraisals, you know, and just, they were very nice people and very willing to learn, but it was very difficult because they would call, like, where we would call something an outhouse, a toilet, you know, outhouse,
right.
They would call that another house in your backyard, like a guest house.
Nice, of course.
So there were some things like that, and then our office kept, every 3 or 4 months, like half of us were gone, you know, so I think there was like 15 reviewers or 20, and probably 15 or 20 coordinators, and then every 2 or 3 months some of us would just disappear and just lose their jobs. And so it came down to about 9 months in, when it was me and two other reviewers and like one or two other appraisers. And then that's when they finally admitted that they're shutting down.
Yes. Writing on the wall, right?
Exactly. It was kind of funny, but that was a good experience too. So I don't know.
So from there, are you just out searching for? I mean, because I'm assuming this is. You said you worked there through the bubble burst. What year did they shut down, and when did you find yourself out of job?
I think it was probably 2010 or 2011,
Which
right
is
around.
the worst time to find a mentor. So I'm curious as to how you found that, how you proceeded from there.
Yeah, so then I stayed home for a few months or something, and then I contacted my manager who, she used to work with the appraisers. I mean, I worked with those appraisers at that AMC as well, but she kind of knew them a little bit more than I did, and she gave me the name of an appraiser who might be looking for a trainee. So, because at that point I thought, well, I want to get out there and do this myself. So, I contacted this person and he said, well, I'm a commercial appraiser, so I can't really help you actually. But I have another person that I trained in and he could help you. So I talked to him and went on an inspection or two with him. And then he said, well, actually, I really can't train you. But I was on Craigslist and I saw an appraiser looking for a trainee.
Nice.
So I contacted that guy and he became my supervisor.
So you're a Craigslist appraiser.
Yeah. Yes. Isn't that crazy?
I love it. Great. Okay, so you go through that experience. Is he still local? I mean, was that a good? You're obviously out on your own now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I worked with him up until January of this year. I got certified in 2014, and then January of this year, I officially started my own business. So I still talk to him. He's a great guy.
Nice.
Still bounce things off him and stuff. But
that is so valuable.
Yeah.
I see so many times when trainees get to the point that they go out on their own, and that split is not amicable at all. So congratulations on that. That's great.
Yeah, no, and I told him probably a good year and a half before I went on my own that I was thinking about that. I didn't just like jump ship. I wanted him to, I just wanted him to know and be aware of that, and just kind of just so that I didn't just drop him right away. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Good for you. So tell me about your business today. Then you've been on your own since you say January, so not quite a year. I assume you're just residential at this point, certified residential.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the volume that you do, a little bit about your business.
So far I think I've done about 340 appraisals, or 1004Ds or something like that, this year. And it was just me, myself, and I until about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
A friend of mine that I'd been talking to, and I'm always telling her, I'm so busy. And she's like, you need to hire someone. You need to hire an assistant. So
Right.
I didn't know how that was going to look, and I just didn't know how that was going to look. And so anyway, she's like, I can help you out. So she's been coming over to my house for the last 2 weeks. Eventually I want to get her so she can kind of stay at her house, and my husband's working on getting us set up with Alamode, the server thing. And so yeah, she's been doing the coordinating of my appraisals and accepting new orders and assigning them and scheduling them and all of that thing.
Nice.
So
how's that been?
Good. I forget how much we know, how much we learned over time, and just all the different websites and all the different places we go to get the information we need, and whether or not we decide whether to accept an appraisal. I forget how much time and effort and learning that took us.
Sure.
So my poor friend, like 2 weeks in, I'm like, here's all you need to know,
Turn on the fire hose, right?
Exactly.
Right.
But she's doing great.
Good.
She's doing really great. So I'm super excited.
Oh, cool. So I don't think you even told everybody where you're at. You're in Minnesota, right?
Yes, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, you're in Minnie. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your work area. From the opportunities that you've had with seeing appraisers across the country, seeing appraisals across the country, rather. Tell us what makes your particular area unique.
well, I work mostly the western suburbs and some north and western suburbs. And we have a lot of, Minnesota's the land of 10,000 lakes,
Right.
and it's actually even way more than 10,000. But so there's a lot of lake frontage property here and a lot of very desirable lakes and that sort of thing. So I think that probably sets us apart a little
Nice.
bit. Also, almost all of our houses have basements in them, so that's something that's a little bit different, I guess. And once in a
Absolutely.
while I get a house without a basement, and then I have to just like hold the phone. Are there comparables?
Right. Interesting. So let me ask you this. I'm curious, with different lakes, do you find that you can have two properties that are very similar, one being on this lake and one being on that lake, and there be a big difference in location just because of the type of lake?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll just be completely honest. I'm very cautious before I accept a lake appraisal because I want to make sure I really feel like I can do it. There's really good comps. I don't feel confident enough to just kind of accept any appraisal
Right.
on
Good
a
for
lake
you.
at this point. I really want to take my time and first take my time to decide whether or not to accept that, and then take my time in finding my adjustments and just making all those important decisions on it.
Good
So
for you. No, you're doing it right.
I hope so.
Good for you. So tell us, you've been doing this a little while. Tell us maybe an experience that you've had that you'd like to share. Maybe a scary encounter, a disturbing encounter, or just an encounter in general.
Sure. I have two kind of interesting ones.
Okay.
So let's see. The one, I was talking to this guy on the phone scheduling the appraisal, and I always tell them, I need to be able to enter every room of the house, and I need to be able to take a photo of every room of the house. And he says, oh, and so he hems and haws, and then, so you think it's going to be a hoarder house because often those are hoarder houses, sadly. But and so I'm going to have to call you back. So okay. So he calls me back. Oh, you're sure? And so anyway, he wouldn't. He's like, well, I have some things in my rooms that I'm not sure I want pictures taken of, and I'm a complete scaredy cat. Like, this was the time when 50 Shades of Grey was
this is what's going through my head. Not that I've ever seen the movie or read the book, but I know about it.
And I'm just thinking, oh no, what am I going to see when I get here? What am I just going to be scared? And I'm just, I can't sleep for weeks if I see something horrific on TV or a bad movie or something. So
Right.
I'm just like, oh no. So, but yet I was still I think I was probably just licensed then. So I needed the work. And so I'm like, oh, so I said, oh, okay, well, I just decided to bring my husband along. So we finally scheduled this thing. So my husband comes along, and I up at the door, I'm like, oh, and this is a trainee I'm training, and that's what I tell this
Good for you.
guy.
Right.
And so
I've done that, by the way.
yeah. Because I just wanted to feel safe and make sure. Meanwhile, my husband forgets, and he keeps telling me, hey, love, hey, honey.
Yeah. This is my trainee, sweetie.
This poor guy must have been, what a couple of goofballs. But we get inside, and it's just filled wall to wall with these collector train sets.
Oh, geez. That's it?
I know. I was totally worried that I
Wah.
was going to be, traumatized for life. And he was afraid that if the mortgage company knew he collected all these trains, that they would make him pay for higher insurance premiums or something like that. So I was like, oh, I can just blur this out.
That's
It's gonna be
hilarious. Super funny. Okay, you said you had two. Now I'm curious on the other one.
So the other one was just your typical split level, and it was rented out. So the owner is at the property when I get there. The renter is not. And so the owner takes me through, and the whole time the owner is telling me how the renter is just awful, and he's kicking them out, and this and that, and all this stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So anyway, we get all done with the appraisal, and I always I'm not the kind of person who feels like she should carry a gun.
Okay.
I would just shoot my foot, but I just carry some pepper spray in my.
Okay.
I have this little pouch thing that I
Okay.
do. So anyway, so I go back to my car, I put my stuff away, and I drive down the street, and I'm taking my comparable photos, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, did you just appraise that property? So I'm like, well, I really can't discuss that. And he's like, I'm the renter. There's some things I want to show you. There's some did he show you the water damage, from the ceiling and all this stuff? So I'm like, uh-oh, did I miss something? So I'm like, okay, well, if you want to take me back. So he takes me back. And meanwhile, the homeowner had left, I thought. But the homeowner shows up at the same time as the renter. And so we're all getting ready to go into this house. And we're just in the foyer area. And they both are like, oh, go on ahead. And suddenly I didn't have that my little pouch with pepper spray in it because I was done with the appraisal, I thought. And so I left that in the car. And so I suddenly had this bad feeling of like, I don't think I should go up these steps with these two guys behind me. I just didn't feel good. So I said, hold on one second, I got to go get something out of my car. So I went back to go get my pepper spray. And then as I
I forgot something. I'm not telling you what, but I forgot something at my car, right?
Exactly right. I know. So as I come back to the house, these two are fighting and arguing so much they could care less who I even am.
Right.
They're too busy. So I just like rolled my eyes and listened, and I didn't see any water damage, but I took a picture. But I just am like, oh, just get me out. But it was just one of those things where I thought I was worried. I was afraid I was in a bad situation, but I wasn't. They were way too busy.
Well, that was a pretty funny story. I usually ask for a humorous story, but that kind of covered it. Unless you have something else you want to share.
Oh, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, good. So talk to us a little about, you have a very unique experience with the appraisal world. You've seen things pre-bubble burst. You've seen things after the bubble burst. You've seen things from sea to shining sea, if you will. You've seen an AMC go under and be a part of that process. Tell me where you kind of see the appraisal profession going in the next little while, and if you don't mind, share with us where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, I think, as I think we mentioned before, that I think that they probably will change the requirements to become a certified appraiser from 4-year degree back to a 2-year degree, and I think that would probably be a good thing. Some people have talked about drones and stuff like that and use of appraisals. And right. I kind of hope that doesn't become a good thing. It sounds like a lot of...
Can you imagine every single time you pull up to an appraisal, you unpack your drone and start going to work? It's a different world.
Sounds like a lot of time consuming. And technology, I'm not so good with technology.
I'll tell you what, I'm all for it if I can sit right here in my office and run the thing from here out to do an inspection, fly through every room, look for mold under the cabinets. When that happens, I'm all over it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good.
On my All-Star Team newsletter, about a year ago, I had a cartoon that has a lady opening the door on the front porch, and a drone is there to meet her, basically announcing himself as the appraiser, and he needs to fly through each room and take pictures and such. But I think we're probably a little ways off from that, maybe.
Yeah. Can you turn your water faucet on, please?
Exactly. Oh, no, I'm sure the drone can do that as well. Flush the toilet, turn on the stove, right. Check the attic, all that jazz. So
weird, a little hand
maybe.
That comes.
We laugh about that now, but in 10 years, we're gonna listen to this episode and go, boy, if we only knew how far we had come, right?
Right. We might just.
So where are you going with your business, Nancy?
Well, I've got this assistant with me now, and so I'm really excited about that. And I don't know, I might take on a trainee. I've got someone who wants to train with me, so we'll see about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just think things are going good, and I just think I'm just really excited about the future.
Good. I assume you're busy, like all of us are. You've kind of tasted the whole law delegation thing, and usually I see most of my clients, it kind of steamrolls from there. Once they taste the beauty of delegation, they want to see more and more opportunities to do so.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I have.
Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about, I always like to ask 2 questions, and that is, what is your biggest failure? And then follow it up with what's your biggest success. This doesn't necessarily have to be appraisal related or even business related, but it could be.
Okay. My biggest failure. Well, I did get one of my appraisals turned into the state, so that was hugely stressful. And it took like 10, 11 months before I got an answer. And but they did come back and say he found a couple things he wanted me to make sure I amend or correct in my report for future, but no fine or anything like that. And so I was really grateful for that. But that really taught me, like, after that happened and I had to get my work file together and all of that and send it off to the state, that really helped teach me to just get all my ducks in a row. Just make sure you've covered everything. It just helped me make my appraisals better and stronger.
Awesome.
Really
awesome. No, that's good. If that kind of an experience, and that is a scary experience for anybody. You get that letter in the mail and your heart sinks and you just start to kind of freak out, because they do have so much ability to be able to affect your livelihood and your life. So that's good. It turned out well.
Exactly. And then I guess I don't know if this was my biggest failure. I'm not sure. I was going to put this in my earlier comments about how I started out. The people, that trainee and that other, and his spouse that were going to train me, they actually were fined by the Minnesota Department. They were fraudulent. They were fined by the Minnesota Department of Commerce. One was fined $35,000. The other was fined $25,000, and their license was revoked. So
that was their fine? $35,000 and $20,000 from a state?
Yeah, 25. Yeah, isn't that wild? Both of them.
Wow, never heard of that.
And they were just making up things. They were just.
Oh my word.
And then they went down to one of those southern states, and I looked them up on that state once, and they were fined and license revoked in that state too.
Holy cow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So I don't know if that's a failure or a success for me that I didn't. Failure is that I kind of picked the wrong people at first, but just I guess a success that it didn't work out with them. That was
you got out when you could.
Yeah. I often think, like, man, that could have gone so wrong for me.
Wow, that's a great story, Nancy. I mean, I'm glad things turned out well for you. That could have gone a completely different way. When we get back, Nancy, I want you to share with us maybe a helpful tip that will be beneficial to appraisers. But I first want to pause here and remind you folks that we are sponsored by DataMaster. Folks, if you don't know DataMaster, please check out their website. Okay, you can go to datamasterusa.com. Check out what they do. Let me just briefly tell you. DataMaster will take some of the mundane tasks that you do as appraisers and make them very, very simple. The mundane task of taking and looking at two screens, so you've got a screen on your right, and then you've got a screen on your left, and on your right you've got the MLS, and on the left you've got maybe a la mode or whatever software that you are using, and you are constantly looking back and forth as you look at the square footage and then type it in, and you look at the style and you type it in, and you look at this square footage on the lot and you type it in, and you do all of this back and forth stuff to put a comp in your report. And I know some of you are saying, well, yeah, but I reuse comps. Okay, yeah, great, so do I, but they still have to be entered at least once. Now, you're either doing that yourself or you are hiring someone else to do it. Either way, it is very costly to use an appraiser. Folks, save yourself some money, save yourself some time, save yourself some sanity by checking out DataMaster. DataMaster can be found at datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And the reason you want to go to that particular website is because you will get 14 days free. Now, DataMaster is opening up new areas constantly. So if you checked them out maybe a few months ago and they weren't in your area, you'll want to go to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach and find out if they are in your area first. And if they are, check them out for 14 days. I promise you will be hooked. It's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Speaking of being hooked, I've been hooked on a la mode for over 20 years. My father has been using a la mode for about 25 years. And a la mode makes it easy to be an appraiser. They help you to focus on what's most important in appraising, that you don't have to deal with software problems. You don't have to deal with entry problems. They have so many tools that allow you to be more effective as an appraiser. It is a no-brainer. Folks, there is a reason that a la mode is the leader in the industry. They are second to none in their customer service side of things. Folks, their software. Guess what? Software has bugs. Software always has bugs. A la mode, I think, is the best software out there. But even if you run into some issues, usually not with their software, but how their software might interact with in your particular environment, you pick up the phone 24/7, 365, yes, on Christmas Day, and you can call a la mode tech support. And these guys and gals are primo. They know what they're doing. Folks, if you're not using a la mode, check them out right now for 15 days. It's alamode.com/free trial. And once you have signed up and tried them for a couple of weeks, you will automatically want to be a part of the All Mode team. And then for the next 10 years, you will have a price guarantee of $349 per year. So for $349 per year, less than one appraisal fee for the entire year, you have the best software out there. Once again, folks, it's alamo.com/free trial. There's a lot of E&O companies out there, folks. There's only one that I use. It's OREP. It's OREP.org. There's a reason I use OREP. I've tried the other companies. I switched to OREP 2 years ago. It saved me money the first year. It saved me money the second year. I'm pretty much guaranteed to be saved money the next year. This is what OREP does. And not only that, but the benefits that you can find at OREP.org are amazing. Folks, check out any other E&O company. Go find out what your E&O company. A lot of people don't even know. Find out what your E&O company is, who your broker is. Go to their website, and then do a little experiment for me. Check out what they have to offer, and then go to orep.org. I promise you, because I've checked out the other sites, I promise you'll be blown away by OREP. The extra benefits they give you in and above being able to have affordable E&O insurance are amazing. The discounts that you get on continuing ed, the webinars that they provide, the free advice. If Nancy talked about getting taken before the state board. Can you imagine having a former state board member that you can talk to on the phone for 30 minutes free of charge for every incident that you have, and say, hey, I really want to know what to do here. I'm freaked out. I just got this letter, and be able to get some excellent advice on moving forward. Folks, that's what OREP does for you. Check them out right now at orep.org. That's OREP.org. All right, we are back, folks. We're having another Appraiser stories. This time, Nancy Vischer from Minnesota. Welcome back, Nancy.
Hi.
I'm so glad you decided to join us. You have a really unique story. I'm really, really thankful that you shared your training experience, because I think a lot of appraisers think that there's really only one path to get from here to there, but you've had a little bit of a unique roundabout way to get to where you are, and I appreciate you sharing that and helping remind us all that there are many, many different paths to Rome, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. So let's talk a little bit about, you've only been on your own for just a few months, I guess, since January. But talk to us a little bit about maybe a helpful tip that you have for other appraisers out there, something you can share with the listeners that would help them to become better at what they do.
One thing I did about a year ago was I got a car, a small compact car that I feel just helps me immensely. I got a Mini Cooper, but you can get whatever. But it has a really tight turn ratio. You know how we're going down the street constantly, and all those turning in driveways and out. And I just think it's really helpful for that. It also has a really good navigation, and I just think a really good navigation right a big screen is just really helpful for we're just going to appraisal to houses all day long, whether it's for comps or to different houses. So I like for that. And then also I have that extend telescoping ladder.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Extend to climb. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that ladder, and it fits perfectly in the trunk of my car.
Nice.
Like it doesn't slide around; it just fits in there perfectly. So I think, whatever car you can find that has some technical things like navigation or Bluetooth syncing with your phones, you can listen to your podcast in the car without having it connected.
Right. Yeah, we spend a lot of time in our car. I appreciate that tip. That's something we sometimes overlook. We're looking more at gas mileage, but to be able to be comfortable in a place that we spend hours a day in, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Thank you. You ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready.
All right, let's wrap this thing up with 7 questions thrown at you very quickly, and just give us your quick answer. Are you an inside out or outside in appraiser?
Outside in.
Okay. Tape, roller, or laser?
Laser.
Which type?
The Disto, the red one.
Nice one. I got that one as well. Tablet, computer, or clipboard and pen?
An iPad.
Wow, you're right on top of things. Appraisal software?
A la mode.
Okay. Favorite thing to do when you're not appraising, Nancy?
Snowboarding with my son or my husband.
Nice.
And then my husband and I like to go dance clubbing, so we do that.
That's cool. Is this country dancing or pop or what?
No, it's like techno.
Nice. That's
it's our
cool.
thing. We like to pretend we're still young.
Dang, I wish I had the video working today on your side. I'd love to just, you could just show me what you're talking about.
Oh, no. That one's pretty.
No? Okay. All right. By the way, you need to come out. If you haven't been out to Idaho or Utah to snowboard, you need to do that. Great experience.
Yes.
So what speed do you listen to the Appraiser Coach podcast on, Nancy?
Oh, just the regular speed. I want to hear everything. I don't want to miss a thing.
All right. And one goal for this year?
Just to have, just to really work well with my coordinator, and just get her just all dialed in, and,
Nice.
and just really speed up our production, speed up our processes, that kind of thing.
Good.
And then I think we'll see. Maybe in about 6 months or so, maybe you take on this trainee that wants me to train him.
Cool.
So we'll
Very
see.
cool. Well, shoot me an email, Nancy. I'd love to see how that turns out for you. Thank you for joining us on the Appraiser Coach podcast and the Appraiser Stories.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
All right, Nancy, we'll talk to you soon. Folks, that was Nancy Vischer. She reached out to me via email. You can do the same thing. Just reach out at thecoach@theappraisercoach.com. We haven't had an Appraiser Stories for a little while, and I don't have anything in the bucket right now. So I would highly encourage any of you who are, just half tempted to be on the show. I would love, love, love to have you on the show. You don't need to be intimidated. It's not as scary as it sounds. We make it very, very easy. We can edit out the anything that you want. And so please reach out to me, thecoach@theappraisercoach.com. I would love to have you on the program, no matter who you are. Please reach out to me, and we'll have you on a future episode. Folks, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next week.